Good evening. Tonight we take you to Leonora, a small town on Guyana's Atlantic coast, where a scene of quiet civic duty is unfolding under extraordinary global scrutiny. The people of Guyana, a nation once seen as an overlooked corner of South America, are casting their votes in an election that may shape not only their national destiny, but the security of an entire region. At the center of today's story stands President Irfaan Ali. In the morning light, accompanied by his wife Arya Ali, he walked calmly into the polling station. Cameras followed their every move. For most nations, this would be a routine moment of democracy at work, leaders voting, citizens lining up, ink on fingers to confirm ballots cast. But for Guyana, today's election is anything but routine. What makes this vote so consequential? First, the discovery of vast offshore oil reserves has catapulted Guyana from one of South America's poorest countries into one of the fastest growing economies on Earth. Only a few years ago, Guyana's GDP was modest by regional standards. Today, international energy giants like ExxonMobil are extracting hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil a day, with production projected to soar even higher in the coming years. This has given Guyana one of the world's highest economic growth rates and the promise of transforming the lives of its 800,000 citizens. But prosperity comes with peril. Those oil fields lie just off the disputed Essequibo region, a territory that Venezuela claims as its own. Caracas argues that Essequibo, which makes up two-thirds of Guyana's landmass, was wrongfully awarded to Guyana in an 1899 arbitration. Guyana insists the border was settled more than a century ago, and the International Court of Justice has backed its position. Yet, as Venezuela's internal crisis deepens, its leaders have escalated rhetoric and military posturing, suggesting they may be willing to challenge Guyana more directly. This territorial dispute is not a distant diplomatic quarrel. It is immediate and it is dangerous. Only days before the election, reports emerged of shots being fired across the border from Venezuelan positions. While no casualties were reported, the incident sent shockwaves through Guyana. For President Ali, it underscored what is at stake. This election is not only about managing oil riches, it is also about safeguarding sovereignty. That is why today's images of the president voting were so charged with symbolism. As he cast his ballot, Ali projected confidence in victory, telling reporters that the campaign had been strong, the numbers encouraging, but that sealing victory required every supporter to show up. Yet his tone shifted when asked about Venezuela. He described the border incident as concerning, but insisted that Guyana's security forces were on full alert. The Guyana Defence Force, he said, is better equipped, better prepared, and positioned to defend the nation. This confidence stems from years of investment. With oil revenues increasing, Guyana has been able to modernize its military, buying equipment, expanding training, and building alliances with regional and international partners. In recent months, Guyana has conducted joint military exercises with the United States, sending a clear message that it is not isolated. Still, the balance of power is daunting. Venezuela's military is far larger, and the threat cannot be dismissed lightly. Ali's message today was not only one of readiness, but also of principle. He stressed that Guyana stands for democracy, for sovereignty, and for regional cooperation against shared threats, such as drug trafficking and transnational crime. These words resonate beyond Guyana's borders. They signal to neighbours and allies that the country seeks partnerships, not isolation, in facing its challenges. But while geopolitics dominates headlines, the everyday voter in Leonora, Georgetown, and across the country is thinking about what oil wealth means for them. Roads in better repair, modern hospitals, expanded schools, jobs that lift families out of poverty. Guyana's rapid transformation raises both hopes and fears, hopes of prosperity, fears of corruption and inequality. Will the billions flowing into state coffers be managed responsibly? Will they improve the lives of ordinary people or disappear into mismanagement and elite capture? These are questions that every voter brings with them into the polling booth. This election, therefore, is about balance, balancing oil wealth with social justice, balancing national defence with diplomacy, balancing rapid growth with sustainability. The next government will be judged not only on whether it can stand firm against Venezuela, but also on whether it can build a more equitable Guyana at home. International attention has never been higher. The United States, the United Kingdom, and CARICOM nations have issued repeated statements supporting Guyana's territorial integrity. The International Court of Justice continues to deliberate on the border dispute, though Venezuela has so far refused to accept its jurisdiction. At the same time, Venezuela's leadership uses Essequibo as a rallying cry for nationalism, attempting to deflect from their own domestic troubles. This makes the situation volatile, where politics, economics and national pride collide. For President Ali, today's vote was not just the fulfillment of a democratic duty, it was a performance of resolve. By walking openly into a polling station, by voting under the gaze of cameras, by answering tough questions about threats and sovereignty, he sought to embody both the confidence of a leader and the vigilance of a commander-in-chief. The ink on his finger symbolized not only his vote, but also his pledge that Guyana will defend its democracy, protect its borders, and chart its own course in the face of pressure. Whether his confidence will translate into an electoral mandate is for the people to decide. But for now, what the world has witnessed is the image of a small nation refusing to be overshadowed by its larger neighbour. The outcome of today's election will shape more than policy. It will define Guyana's role in a shifting global order. As energy resources grow scarcer and more contested, as rival powers seek influence in the Western Hemisphere, Guyana's strategic importance will only increase. This election and the posture taken by its president will be studied not just in Georgetown and Caracas, but also in Washington, Beijing and Brussels. In the coming days, ballots will be counted, results declared, and campaigns celebrated or conceded. But the real test lies beyond the numbers. It lies in whether Guyana can manage its oil wealth with fairness, strengthen its institutions with transparency, and defend its sovereignty with courage. On these fronts, President Ali has made promises. Delivering on them will require more than confidence. It will demand leadership, unity, and resilience. And so tonight, as Guyana votes, the world watches. A nation long overlooked has stepped into the spotlight, armed with new resources, new responsibilities, and new risks. For the citizens of Leonora and beyond, today was about casting a ballot. For the region, it was about confronting a threat. And for the world, it was a reminder that even small nations can stand tall when sovereignty and democracy are on the line. This is Guyana's moment of decision.
Moses told me where he'll put it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Very confident about the victory. You saw the campaign we ran. The numbers speak for themselves. But as I said, sealing the victory is important, and that requires all our supporters to come out and ensure that they seal the victory with their vote. So of course it's concerning. The security forces are on full alert. They have their strength and they're ready. They have the equipment, and we have to understand the threat of Venezuela. The Guyana Defense Force has beefed up its not only troop, but they are in a better position. We have invested a lot, as you know, in the military. So I'm confident with what they have on our borders and the systems they have in place. I have made it very clear that Guyana, we support democracy. We will support anything to eliminate any threat to our security in terms of not only our sovereignty. We view our sovereignty very seriously. Also, we live in a region that all of us must come together to fight transnational crime, to fight illicit drug trade, and we will support every effort to smash the illicit drug trade and transnational crime.